Dealing with Different. I'm Adam Tilted. This is the show where we talk about people who are different than we are with the aim of better understanding, compassion, just all around being nicer to people. Today we're going to talk about social anxiety. But first, I'm going to take a moment to share this out. And if you would do the same, I would really appreciate it. That would really help. Also, if you found me on this page, make sure you give it a like and a follow so that you get notifications when I go live from now on. As I said, we're going to be talking about social anxiety today. And about 7% of the population experiences social anxiety in some form or another, which doesn't sound like a lot at first, but 7%, that means that if you've got a room full of 100 people, 7 of them are going to be having social anxiety. So that is kind of a lot. But what is social anxiety? Oh, first, before we get into that, today's show is sponsored by the Adam Tilted Club. That is where you can go shop, find out information about the products that I have. And if you would like to be a sponsor of a future show, just contact me, let me know. If you would like to support the show, but you can't commit to being a sponsor, then I would gladly accept any donations at paypal.me/Adam Tilted. Now notice, have you done it this way? PayPal.me, not .com. If you do .com and put in Adam Tilted, it's going to ask you for my email address and all that stuff. This is a shortcut. So paypal.me/Adam Tilted will bring you to a page. It'll have my face on it. And you can just put in any amount you want. Every little bit helps. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. So thank you for watching. Social anxiety, as I said, it touches about 7% of the population. And I'm one of those people. I experience social anxiety. So what does that mean? Now, I want to make a distinction between feeling nervous, feeling anxious. Everybody does that. Everybody feels those emotions at some point or another. But what I'm talking about is a mental illness, social anxiety disorder. And so I want you to know what that feels like for someone who is experiencing it, because then you'll have a better idea of what to do to help. And you'll also just understand what's happening to them. So social anxiety is a fear of interaction with other people, basically. It brings on self-doubt, this feeling that everyone's judging me or everyone's watching me. Say hi if you're watching. And I become very self-conscious, and what that leads to is avoiding social situations. So I struggle with that because I like to go out, and party with my friends, but the thought of being out, it just makes my heart race. Sometimes I sweat. Sometimes I get so worked up that I vomit. That hasn't happened in a while. That's good. I've gotten that under control. Um, but it's a serious issue for a lot of people. In fact, it is the third largest mental health care problem after depression and alcoholism. That I didn't know until I was researching for this study. Excuse me. A couple of things that I should just put out there. Not apologizing for them, but just acknowledging that there are a couple of things that are going to prevent this premiere episode of season 2, which I'm so excited about, to be the best it could be. Number one, we've got some repair to do. Our house didn't flood during the hurricane. But we had to take out this just to make sure that there was no mold back there, because the house was basically abandoned in a flooded neighborhood for a month. So, we had to take that out just as a precaution. But our house didn't flood. Thank you. We were so lucky. The other thing is, I am not feeling well. I don't know what is going on. I think it is a combination of air. Well, I think it's all about air quality. There's allergies are going crazy right now in Houston, and they're doing this cleanup from the hurricane, and so they've come. It's all been stages, right? It's been piles of trash. Basically, everyone's stuff in their home is now on their lawn, and it was like that for a while. And then they came by with these big machines and trucks and took all that away. And now there's this dust all over the place after everything's dried out. Well, now they're coming by with big trucks with scrubbers on the bottom and driving up and down the streets to clean that off. Well, that's just like putting dust all out into the air. And that's not just regular dust. This is stuff that was in the flood water. Ooh. So I think that's just like really messing me up. Plus, I've got a fever, so something's happening. So anyway, not to put out excuses, but I just wanted you to be aware I might not be in top form, but the show must go on. So, social anxiety. Third largest healthcare problem, 7% of the population. Here are some things that can trigger it. Being introduced to someone new. Being teased or criticized. Being the center of attention. Although for me, that's not a problem. I love to be the center of attention, as long as I have some sort of barrier I can put up between me and the attention. For instance, being on stage, I like that because I can just ignore the fact that there is an audience. But going to a party, that's hard, right? So that's the difference for me. And I should also mention, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just sharing with you my own experience. So everyone experiences anxiety in different ways. And I don't presume to speak for everyone, but I'm hoping that if I can share my experiences, you might have a better understanding of this issue that a lot of people face, and at least give you a starting point. And I'm very happy to continue the conversation offline or online. You can post questions, send me messages, whatever. So what happens when I experience social anxiety? I get really nervous. I mentioned that sometimes I throw up. Usually that's before I get there. So what I get this before I know I'm going somewhere, I get myself all worked up. I try not to, but I just start thinking about it. Okay, like, What am I going to wear? Am I going to look stupid? Is the party going to be stupid? Are the people there going to be dumb and boring? Am I going to come off as a smart ass or conceited? Because that happens sometimes. So I get myself in this headspace that is just like all about worrying about what other people are going to think about me. And then I, usually have this physical reaction. And then I feel better. And I go to the party and I have a great time. But it also is difficult for me to, I don't have a problem meeting new people so much anymore because I have the wheelchair, and the wheelchair gives me a boundary. So that's been interesting. But before the chair, I would go to a party. I wouldn't talk to anybody except the people that I knew. And a lot of people do that and don't have social anxiety. I'm just letting you know this is one of the things that happens, because at the same time, my heart is racing and I have this feeling. You know how if you've ever been almost in a car accident, or you've dropped something and you have that feeling? That's what anxiety feels like for me, except it's constant. You don't have that down part. It's just, and you're just like hyper alert, hyper ventilating. Ooh, almost kind of passed out. I gotta be careful. Trembling, dry mouth. Like, that's why I have to keep drinking the water, because I'm experiencing social anxiety right now. I've learned to cope with it. But, this is kind of like being on stage. But it's also different because I know that it's going to be online forever and people can judge it. Right? So people are judging me, judging my wall and my crazy background that should be fixed by now, but had a hurricane get in the way. So those are the things that I think about, which you might also, but I have an irrational response. So I think that, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is going to be the end of the world. I just can't even do it. Maybe I shouldn't even do the live. Maybe I should just not even let anybody come over to the house. Oh my gosh. And then it just spirals out of control from there. Some other people have other reactions, such as they turn red, they sweat a lot, trembling. That happens to me sometimes, and then that's weird. But a lot of people tremble, when they get nervous, and people with social anxiety can tremble enough that, they can't even pick up a cup. Luckily, mine's not that bad. I just get a little shaky. Excuse me. And in some severe cases, people can have difficulty swallowing. That can, lead to difficulty breathing. So, this can be a very serious condition. I do that too, Ashley. I do that too, overanalyzing. Now, the good news is that you can treat this. The bad news is that it's all in your head. I mean, I don't mean that you're making it up, but it's in your head. The way you treat social anxiety is through cognitive behavioral therapy. So you have to train your brain, your mindset, to recognize that you're having an irrational response to a normal situation, and you don't have to freak out about it. That's hard to get to. It's harder than it sounds. But that's what it's like. I hope this has given you at least a taste of, you know, what social anxiety is like for people, at least what it's like for me. I am welcome, like I said, I welcome questions. So please put any questions in the comments and I'll come back and answer them. Also, share this out to your timelines so that more people can see this, because you'd be surprised how many people have experiencing this and they don't have anyone to talk to about it. They don't feel comfortable. And it does help to know that somebody, even if they don't know me, that somebody else feels this way. And it's not just them. Thank you, and don't forget to like and follow the Dealing with Different page. I may periodically pop up just unannounced, just with some interesting things that I find. And I will create events on Sundays to let you know when the weekly show will be. So keep an eye out for those as well. Have a wonderful day. And don't forget to be good to each other.